Boom, boom, boom. He's Chef Track on the fast track. He's Chef Track on the fast track. He's shaking and baking and mixing and fixing nutritious meal, nutritious meal. He's Chef Track on the fast track. He's Chef Track on the fast track. Welcome to yet another episode of the Chef Trek Adventure Series. I'm your host, one of your hosts, Mia Bird, my executive producer and co-host, and her daughter are off on another adventure. But this is a special show because we're dedicating it to the memory of Vijay Krishna Mohan, who was the access manager here at Philly Cam, who has just recently gone home to be with his Lord. But we have special guests, troop number 512. And we'll talk to one of the scouts. We will talk to one of the scouts. And as I de-smoke the place here, we also have a visitor from the marvelous place I work for, Federal Reserve Bank. We have Scott Newman, who came here with the scouts. And being part of a food service network that supplies food for the Federal Reserve Bank, we have our pastry chef, Chef Val. How are you? Stand up and wave at the folks. We're here with one of the scouts from troop number 512. Carson, we're so glad you're here. What can you tell us about yourself and about this wonderful group of scouts you're here with?
Thank you, Chef Gill. My name is Carson Shaner from Troop 512 of Springfield, Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Our troop is a fairly large one. We have 60 members, 15 of which are here today.
All right.
We came out because we love learning.
All right.
Today we came here to learn about cooking and movie making.
All right.
We aren't exactly filming a movie here, but we get to learn a lot about TV production, cameras, and how everything works in a production area.
All right. Now, Carson, how long have you been a scout?
I have been a scout since I was 6, so 8 years.
Very good, very good, very good. I was telling Carson earlier, and I had mentioned to Mr. Newman, I was never a scout, but my older brother, who's long gone to be with the Lord, was a scout. And I would tell my mom and dad, I said, how come I'm not a scout? Crying and carrying on. I never did get an answer of why, but it was okay. It was quite okay. Carson, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Anything you want to add about your experience here?
Well, I've learned a lot already, and this food looks delicious.
Oh, great. Now, it was brought to my attention by one of your scout leaders that when you guys go out camping, you guys do your own cooking. Mm-hmm. Now, what have you done in the past?
Like recipe-wise?
Well, you know, cooking for the guys, cooking for yourself.
My favorite meal that we've ever cooked was a chicken cacciatore.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Carson, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. This show is based on cookout. We do have outside some hot dogs, beef, and some turkey, but this is not about hot dogs. It's about a new twist on some old favorites. So what we're going to do to accompany those hot dogs, we're going to do a couple of different things. Let's take a stroll over and see what all we have. We're going to incorporate these vegetables into a couple of different things. We have pineapple, which is going with a salad. We have a wonderful trio of barley, which is grain, Israeli couscous, which is a pasta, and quinoa, and this is a tricolored quinoa, and quinoa. So we have two grains in the pasta. We have some pecans, some pine nuts, and some assorted things. Most of this will go into a salad, or types of salad. Over here we have our featured roasted vegetables. So this is already done. In addition to the roasted vegetables, we'll be having a deep fried vegetable dish known as a tempura. And that's going to be made from cauliflower, broccoli, squash, zucchini, and probably carrots. So, gee, what's going on here? Officer Bernard!
Oh, yes. How y'all doing?
How can we forget Officer Bernard? Puppeteer Bernard King and his Officer Bernard.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing out there?
Now, Officer Bernard, could you
Yes.
let the folks know why I asked you to be here, the real reason?
The real reason is he wants me to keep him in order.
There you go. There you go.
That part.
Good. And you were correct. Also, on the other side, it's Sound Barrier. Mitch McLeese on bass. Greg James on drums. And on percussions and guitar, Mobilaji. Sound Barrier and friend. Balaji and I go back to high school. When we were in the choir together, we were in the African percussion group together, so we go back for a good number of years. And the same with Bernard King, because we all grew up in the same neighborhood. So it's about community, and what we talk about here with the Chef Trek Adventures are 4 F's: faith, family, friends, and food. So let's get things started. I think we'll start with our tempura. And as I said, what we're putting in this tempura, we have our tempura mix. It's a floured seasoned mix. And guess what? It just gets mixed with water. And I'm estimating like about 3 cups of the flour mix, and give or take about 2 cups of just plain water. So we're just going to mix this up real quick. And while we're doing this, we'll have a nice little undertone from the guys. Now we're going to just set this behind me. I have a bowl with the same floured mix, and the reason I have that, we'll start with the broccoli. Now when you're doing this type of application, it's always best to flour your vegetable prior to putting it in the batter. The flour will allow the batter to adhere a lot better rather than just dumping this in and going that way. We're going to try our first little bit of stuff here and see, I just cut this in various sizes. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's cut it however you want to cut it. Because like I tell people all the time, it's based on what you want to do, how you want to do this. As long as you have your basic instructions and what your ingredients are and you understand your method, then as time goes, you'll learn to alter things to suit your taste and to suit your level of cooking. But it's all about fun, folks. It's all about love. Now, it's so strange that we're doing broccoli tempura, because on our last show, we had a number of young folks in, and Chef Mia was explaining about getting used to different vegetables, trying different things. And on the last show, she mentioned, oddly enough, have you ever had broccoli tempura? But all these shows can be found with recipes on my website, and that's cheftrek.net. We're going to do a nice mixed green salad in this bowl. Now, we already have our greens, some of them. This is spring mix. spring mix are baby lettuce leaves, different types of lettuce, baby leaves. So we have that, but what we're going to add to that is just regular iceberg lettuce. And we're going to make sure the core is cut out. And we're just going to do a slice, a slice, a slice, a slice, a slice. There we go, there we go. And we'll do the same thing. I always emphasize safety in the kitchen with knives. I'm using my Chinese vegetable cleaver, which I like to use for a lot of things very often. And one of the reasons I like to use it, because sometimes when I have something like this, I can just take the cleaver and use it as a scoop. But we're going to finish off, for the most part, our salad. This is a European cucumber. Has a lot less seeds than regular cucumber. And it has it's a little firmer than, come back here, it's a little firmer than your regular cucumber. But it's a good tasting cucumber. Yes, yes, yes. Mr. Gregory James. Okay, now we are going to lightly toss what we've got here. So now we have iceberg lettuce and we have our spring mix. And what we're going to do is just encircle our cucumbers. And see, I just get like picky sometimes, and you don't have to go through all of this. You can literally take this and dump it in and mix it up and say, I'm happy. We have a nice tomatoes, and we could cut these in half, but we're not going to, because we have strawberries and we're going to cut those in half. And we're going to top this off with some nice red onion. Okay. And once again, we're just going to do a light toss in the center. And I can boost this down again. Okay, and I did say onion. And I did say carrot. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. We have a red onion, and we're only going to use about half of it. I mean, it's up to you. Okay, and we'll get our grater, and we'll just grate a little carrot on top of this just for additional color. Oftentimes, we'll make different types of dressings or vinaigrettes, and there we have it. We have our tossed salad with cucumbers, cherry tomatoes. Actually, they are the grape tomatoes. The two types of lettuce, some red onions, and some carrots. Now what we're going to do is cut off both ends of our pineapple, and we're going to shave. You carefully follow the pineapple and try to remove as many of these these brown spots as possible. We're going to actually grill this pineapple. Here, we're going to cut this pineapple in half. We're going to cut it in half again, simply so I can cut out that core. And we're going to do slices. And that's about a ½ inch slice, give or take. And we're placing this on our oil grill. And we're only going to grill this a couple of minutes on each side, not for a long period of time, just a wee bit. Boom, 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 boom. We'll be right back. See you soon. Don't go anywhere. You're on a Chef Trek adventure. I'm your host, Delmer Gill. Be right back.
Boom, a boom, boom. He's Chef Track on the fast track. He's Chef Track on the fast track. He's shaking and baking and mixing and fixing.
It's about what we're doing. It's about faith. It's about family. It's about friends. And it's about what we see before us, food. Now, we've got our little grilled pineapple, strawberries, and just a little bit of red onion. And you'll find that the red onion and the sweetness of the pineapple and the strawberry is going to be a little different. But I think you'll enjoy it. Now, grains and pasta here. And actually, I like the way this looks just as it is. And guess what? We might just do a few things and not get too carried away, which I've been known to get carried away, so please bear with me. We're going to take our red pepper, and here's something we oftentimes forget. Remove the little label from your peppers after you have washed your vegetables, because oftentimes some vegetables will come with a label. Now, Officer Bernard, what vegetables do you usually like? I know you like red peppers, right?
I love them.
Very good.
They're good for you.
Yes, indeed. Now, these red peppers are going into this salad. They are going on top of this raw. You could grill them. You could tempura them, as we have done with the other things. It's all about what you particularly want to try. And we're going to sit this back here for a minute. And we're going to slice this a wee bit different. We can get a shot of that. We're just cutting this into what I like to call julienne strips, you know, which is a thin strip. Boom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. We're going to top this off. We have our red peppers, which we've cut into strips. And we're going to take, a stalk of celery. We're cutting off the ends. And here, we'll do this to make room. And we're just going to, garnish this. Nothing fancy. I mean, we could take all this application and mix it together if we choose. But at the moment, I choose not to. So, we're going to take our celery and we're going to cut that on a bias cut, somewhat thin. And see, the celery will give a good example of how I talk about knife safety. We have a long vegetable, and what's going to happen is my hand is going to gradually go down the stalk. So we're going to chop. And as I'm chopping, my hand is moving away. And I can actually take this just about to the end. And there we have it. This did not, and tell you what, we're going to do one more stalk. There we go. And once again, we're just going to do the sprinkle. And I think, just as we did with our salad earlier, we're going to take a carrot and just do a little shred. All right. And here we have it. And see, the thing about these applications, now we just did basically two types of salad in real time. We did it in real time. And quick, easy, very light, and very full of nutrition and good for you. So, we're going to recap all of our fun things we've done. All right, now, remove a few things here. Tongs, Delmer, so one does not burn oneself. Okay, now, from the items we have here, we had an assortment of vegetables, we had two types of onions, we have lemons which we didn't use, but they were here, red pepper, broccoli, zucchini, which is on the roast, yellow squash, more carrots, iceberg lettuce, and cauliflower. So, I always seem to bring this book. It's a book called The Encyclopedia of Cooking, which I do believe it was published in early 1950s. It's the book that my grandmother used all the time, and my love for cooking came from both my grandmother and my mother. So I always keep the book from Laura Jane Brown. So, once again, give yourselves applause. Thank you for being here.
He's Chef Track on the fast track. He's Chef Track on the fast track. He's shaking and baking and mixing and fixing nutritious meal, nutritious meal. He's Chef Track on the fast track. He's Chef Track on the fast track. His food is so good, good. His food is so good, good. His food is so good, good. And baking and mixing and fixing nutritious meal, nutritious meal. He's Chef Track on the fast track. He's Chef Track on the fast track. His food is so good, good. His food is so good, good. His food is so good, good. Chef Track, Chef Track, Chef Track, Chef Track. His food is so good. Chef Track, Chef Track.